Hello, welcome to Algorithms. My name is Saurabh, and today we are going to discuss about automation of modern data platform. And when we are talking about modern data platform, it is not just another data warehouse or big data architecture where you have data source, and then you have staging area, you have ETL, you have data warehouse operations, you have reporting, and so on and so forth. Now in this case what we are talking about is a scenario where we deploy dev and staging environments in an automated manner, and use deployment gates for manual approvals. We automate the whole pipeline as a code. So those are the things we are going to discuss. It is going to be very interesting. So these are the requirements. So we have specified, okay, what do we need in this kind of modern data warehouse architecture? So as you can see, we are getting data from different sources. It could be structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. We are going to deploy dev and staging as infrastructure as a code in an automated manner. We will deploy changes across different environments in automated manner using continuous integration and continuous delivery pipelines. We will be using pipeline as a code to ensure CI/CD pipeline definitions are in source control. We will carry out integration test on changes using a sample data set, or I'm saying sample, you can use any data set that you are using in your data warehouse environment. You run pipelines in an scheduled order and on a scheduled basis. We need to support agile development, including the addition of data science workloads. So now data science is also part of this. We need to support both row level and object level security. We need to support at least 20 concurrent dashboard and 20 concurrent power users, and the data pipeline should also carry out validation and filter out malformed or uh, uh, unvalidated records to a specified store. So in this case we are saying, when we are doing validation, anything which is not validated according to the rules should go to a different data store for further analysis. We need to support monitoring and centralized configuration in a secure storage. Maybe we may use Azure Key Vault. So now we are using so many different components in this scenario. So let's look at the architecture. So you see, this is the architecture in the dev sandbox. What are the different components we are using? You look at staging, you look at prod, we are using Databricks. I'm not going to explain different components because for DevOps, for Databricks, for different components or different sort of architecture, Lambda architecture, you can refer to my previous presentations and learn more about those concepts. But in this case I'm just going to walk you through the workflow, and I wanted to showcase the architecture, how it looks like when you deploy continuous integration and continuous deployment in a modern data warehouse or modern data platform architecture. It is not same as we used to see in the past. Okay, so for instance, your developer develops some code or some sort of change in its own sandbox environment within dev resource group, and commit those changes into his own git branch. Okay, and you can name your git branch as developer name or branch name. So when changes are complete, developer raises a pull request to the master branch for review. Doing so automatically kicks off the PR validation pipeline, which runs the unit test, and data tier application package builds automatically. Then on completion of pull request validation, the commit to master will trigger a build pipeline that publishes all necessary build artifacts. Once that is done, the completion of successful build pipeline will trigger the first stage of release pipeline. Once that happens, the deployment publishes build artifacts into the new dev environments except the ADF, Azure Data Factory components. Then developer manually publishes to the new ADF from collaboration branch, which is master branch, and then it manually publishes updates the Azure Resource Manager templates in the ADF publish branch. Then once that is done successfully, the successful completion of first stage triggers a manual approval gate. On approval, because why there is a manual approval gate, why it is not automated, so that somebody is going to review this and approve it. So it should not happen that a review has happened just on the change request forms that we use or create in our organizations nowadays using ServiceNow or using some other tools like Remedy. You create change request, your manager approves the change request without even knowing what is happening to the whole pipeline or what are the changes being made except for what is written in that change request. So you review this whole pipeline, or somebody who knows about the architecture or the data or the business context in which this change is all about, that person is going to review and approve that change. On approval, the release pipeline continues the second stage and deploys the change to staging environment. Then you run integration test to test the changes in the staging environment. Upon successful test of the staging environment, the pipeline triggers a second manual approval gate. So see, we have created a phase gates at different levels to make sure that those changes are not moving to the next stage without any sort of approval within the workflow. So the approval is included in the workflow, so you don't need to worry about raising change. What you can do is, this is additional step, you can integrate this with the ServiceNow or any other tool, so the change request will happen automatically. So the moment you go from sandbox to the staging area, or you may raise a change request that goes to your manager, or an email goes to your manager goes back to this architecture, approve it, and then go to the next level, so on and so forth. So it makes it easy, so you don't have to run after people, and you can do a lot of other things in terms of adding different rules from the approval perspective, because sometimes those emails or tickets are lost. So those rules can be added as well, but it is not agenda or objective of this presentation. We just wanted to focus on the continuous integration and continuous delivery for the modern data platform. So that's why we are discussing the flow in a manner which is very much focused on the DevOps environment. So once the second stage is successful, you trigger the pipeline for the manual approval. Once that is approved, the release pipeline continues with the third stage and deploys the changes to the production environment. Now, this solution includes support for both unit testing and integration testing. As I said right in the beginning, we have Azure Key Vault for the configuration. If you look at the deployment from stage, so we are using keys, we are not storing any password or access details in any file. All of these are stored in key vaults, and that's the purpose we are using key vaults, and that's the reason it helps us in terms of achieving this phase gate approval as well in the continuous delivery pipeline. So rest of the things from the ARM template deployment of ADF, uh, uploading the Python packages, uploading notebooks, deploying data tier application package, it's all done in an automated manner to the production resource group. As you can see, apart from the approval and just minor manual interventions, we are not using we are not using any manual effort in order to move things from dev to staging, from staging to production. It's all automated, and that's the beauty. So you minimize the error, you have better control and governance on your modern data platform. Most of the organizations have started using this practice, but they are just in the beginning because it is complex to deploy and configure. Uh, but for simpler environments, especially, means they can do it in the dev, in the sandbox and dev, and leave the production until they are 100% satisfied that things are working perfectly fine up to the dev stage or staging area. They can take it to the production manually as well, but it's up to the organization. Several organizations, they have a skill sets, DevOps skill set, and they're part of uh, big data or analytics team. So for them it's easy, they can do the whole thing in a POC and then go live. But those organizations who are new in this area and they have just started their journey on digital transformation, for them maybe they can go for a small POC using a small environment on Azure services, using Azure services, and once they are satisfied, they can go to deploy full-fledged DevOps practices in their modern data platform or data platform environment. I guess this is it from my side. If you have any specific questions, please drop in the comments box. Thank you very much for watching.